Matt Brown and Lyle Husband have been a part of Brentwood Academy for almost 4 decades. Both graduated in the 1990s and returned to join the faculty and coaching staff at BA in the 2000s. Matt is an integral part of the Christian Life Department and Lyle a member of the English Department. Their impact on the lives of BA students has been great, and we are privileged to call them BA family. Enjoy this look back with these BA alums, faculty members, coaches, donors, and now parents, Matt Brown and Lyle Husband.
Well, Lyle, it's great being here with you today. The man, the myth, the legend.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
And we're just supposed to kind of riff here about our time as students, and then moving into being teachers here and all the stuff that we've seen happen. So we'll just jump right into it.
All right.
Talk to me about what do you remember? We talk about this a lot, but what do you remember about being a student here?
I was thinking about this just in terms of the layout of the campus. You know, if you're in the Commons looking at the theater, that wall on the right where we currently hang a lot of our student art.
Yeah.
I remember 2 big steel doors, and those were the entrances to the gym. Mm-hmm. That's where we ate lunch in the Commons, and where Kathy Locke's office currently is, where Mr. Bradshaw's office is, and Dr. Masters' office is. That was where we went in to get the food.
Yeah,
that was the dining facility where they made and prepared the food. And then I just remember eating lunch, and then what we were allowed to do back then is go in the gym and have recess. So we would eat as quickly as we could. We'd run into the gym. We'd play basketball. The teachers just ate. We were, it was just a simpler, more fun time. I was just thinking about that. I had so much fun doing that. I just remember that, the difference in the campus. It was much smaller, obviously. And, we shared hallways with juniors and seniors. Everybody knew one another.
Did you get in trouble for playing in your dress shoes, playing basketball in your dress shoes on the floor?
Back then, it didn't matter. I would play basketball whenever, wherever.
Because I got in trouble by Ricky Bowers.
Oh, yeah. No, I would bring my tennis shoes, Coach. I didn't have tennis shoes back then.
That was smart.
Yeah.
That was smart. I got in trouble in 7th grade for playing on the second time he told us. That's when I got in trouble.
Yeah.
Hey, your class, was it your senior year? The 6th grade classroom was your classroom, wasn't it? Was that your senior year?
And I think that was Miss Satterfield's room, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yeah, and we had 6th grade in the senior hall. 6th grade, the whole 6th grade class was in a room in the senior hall. So it was 6th graders and seniors. I just remember seeing that. And even I was 8th grade probably, and just remember thinking that and going, wow, this is kind of a cool place that we can put 6th graders in the senior hall, and it's like, it's okay. Yeah. That was pretty awesome. Yeah. I had a question. It's not on here that I'm supposed to ask, but what do you think they put in the food in the dining hall that made the class of 93 not age? Because I don't just understand, why all of you guys, none of you, all of you that are affiliated with the school, you haven't aged at all.
Well, one, I wish that were true. I'm not sure about that. Maybe we found the fountain of youth somewhere.
I don't know. But yeah, the campus has changed a ton.
Yeah, I remember, okay, so where the senior hall is and the new dining room and all that, basically that wasn't there at all. You would come around through the dining hall and walk where currently the sophomore hall is, and there was outside doors going to a field. Mm-hmm. That was it.
Yeah, I think we were the first class to go through the new senior hall.
That wasn't there when I was there.
We
would go down these huge stairs, and all that was downstairs was the locker room, which is now the big junior study hall room. And
I think it's hard for people to get their head around. No middle school, no rock, no fine arts wing. Baseball field was
where the middle school was.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
I remember Coach Compton sending us out there to pick up rocks. If we spoke in class or talked too much,
you have to sit on the wall,
and then go pick up rocks in the baseball field.
Did he make you sing the alma mater to the tune of Gilligan's Island?
No.
We used to have to do that.
I don't remember that. I don't remember
or get in a little push-up position with your ear 2 inches
I
off the
remember
ground.
just girls having to go run around the bases and pick up rocks, and them being upset because they were going to get their dress dirty or whatever. So that was good stuff.
Who were? I mean, there's so many to choose from, but who were your mentors or those people that were like really special that poured into you here at BA?
So many. I thought about this a lot, and I could, I don't want to leave anybody out, but certainly Coach Flatt, just his influence over so many, but now still is influential, I would say, just in his intensity, this sense of urgency about getting things done. I still kind of maybe operate under that aura in a way, of having a sense of urgency. And then, of course, Charlie Harper, humble, just such a calming presence. But his humility stood out to me. His gentleness, his kindness, his just And then, even though at the time I wasn't very active in the Bible studies outside of class, John Patton was very influential. Just watching him and kind of watching how his life, aligned with what he said. That he was a big influence on me. Teachers, Donnell Malum at the time was wonderful. Still remember Les Mis, and her passion for that was really good. Lee Brown, as my senior English teacher, had a tremendous impact on me. I just remember him listening to what I had to say, and affirming me that I did have some good ideas, and he was so interested in what we had to say and what we were thinking, not whether or not the answer was right. So I just remember we just had wonderful discussions about the Odyssey, about Hamlet. So I thought, man, this is a guy who's my football coach and smart and loves reading. It's really cool. So, lots of people. I mean, even back to middle school days, Coach Alan Gentry, was my coach. If you can believe it, I was an offensive guard in 7th grade. I was like 80 pounds. And then after practice, I would go and help him bale hay. And he would pay me a little bit of money. So he was awesome as well.
Now that's the problem here is we could do an individual hour on each one of those people and just talk about, tell stories about them. I mean, I still think about, like, I would echo every single one of those, and I think about, you don't know who's going to pour into you, but Lee Brown is my freshman English teacher, and then Donnell Milam is my junior English teacher, and Cameron Phillips, sophomore year, just thinking through, those people taught me how to read a text and how to think deeply about a text that I was reading, and I do that every day now. Right, that's what I teach now from the Bible side of things, is how do you read this text and take something from it. And John Patton and the Gentrys, obviously we could go on and on about them, and Ray Dalton. Don't want to forget Coach Dalton, because
I'll never forget Ray Dalton, ever. I'll never forget him, because he used to pay attention to me in film sessions. He would
wake you up,
something. Point out something I may have done wrong.
Well, that's one of my most vivid memories is, first time I intercepted a pass and I ran it back for a touchdown. And all I did was I jumped up in the air, and Austin Kemp grabbed me like this around the waist, put me down, and I ran off the field thinking, man, I'm so cool. Coach Dalton grabbed my face mask, and I was happy. I thought he was going to, and he just looked like he was so gruff, and he said, you get in the end zone, you act like you've been there before.
Well, Coach, I haven't.
And I was like, no, well, I will have been there before next time I get in there. But that was, those were the things that we learned, where I try to pass that on in my own way to say, guys, this is, when you go out on the field, you go out on the court, you go out on the track, you let your play do the talking, and you don't showboat. You don't do any of that stuff. You just have the integrity and the humility to go out and do your thing. But yeah, we could just keep going. How did you end up back here coaching and teaching?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I always loved to, sports were always very important to me. I always, I didn't really know I wanted to study. Someone told me, study something that you really enjoy doing. I've always loved to read, so I thought, I'll do English. Maybe thinking in the back of my mind that I would one day coach, but not really sure. But as I got further along in college, I just knew that I just knew the influence and the impact that teachers and coaches had made on me, and I felt like that's what I wanted to do. In fact, I knew it, and so I started interviewing at all the private schools around the area. I was at the University of Tennessee and just sent my resume out, and just was lucky enough to get here, and just I really feel blessed because I don't know. I think a lot of people have had to go through 3 or 4 different types of occupations and professions to kind of find what they enjoy doing. But I just always have felt like my gifts or whatever God's blessed me with is just naturally fitted to this profession, and I never feel like I'm coming to work. I just really enjoy it.
Well, what was it? And you've kind of said this before, but I really do. I want to hear, how did your faith testimony shape you coming back here? Like when did you get serious about your faith? I know you kind of talked about that, but
well, I've always been, I've been a believer ever since I was younger. I think I rededicated myself in a more serious way probably when I was a senior, and then maybe like many people, maybe drifted away in college. But I think that Amy, my wife, had a big influence on me, and then when I got married, just the call of what it means to be a husband, a leader, that is what really kind of woke me up, and then the understanding of the responsibility and the impact that you have when you're around kids.
Yeah, when you step into the classroom and you realize they're looking at you.
When you're a role model, you can't fake it.
Yeah.
And so all those things, just kind of newly married, new job, understanding that you're beginning the next chapter, waking up and realizing that you got to put the childish ways behind you. So
yeah. The reason I asked that is just, I remember hearing, hey, Lyle's teaching at BA, and I was in college or whatever, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I didn't know that he would want to be. I just knew you. I knew you as an athlete. I didn't really know you that well I knew you as an athlete, and I was like, I didn't know if he would want to teach. And came back, and then when I get here, and I just see the way that you pour into these kids, and you're one of those that. You teach them English, you teach them how to read, you teach them how to write, but they remember what you teach them about life, and they remember what you teach them about the faith. And that's what I hear. If you're teaching freshmen, sophomore, junior, that's what I hear on the senior end. Is that I did an exercise today in Bible class, or yesterday and today in Bible class on gratitude. And they're like, "Did you get this from Coach Husband?" Because I was like, "No, I can come up with my own exercises." Because you made them do it. Because you made them write down something all the time, consistently. What are you thankful for? So I think that's important to talk about how your faith shaped you, and God brought you back here to now pour your faith into others. But
well, and you as well. I mean, having taught both of my children, that's the cool thing about that I feel so blessed to have experienced is just people that I went to school with now teaching and coaching and influencing my children, my family. I'm now getting the opportunity to teach and coach, my friends' children, and it's just really neat. That's been my most favorite part.
Yeah,
is as I'm doing it longer, getting that coming around the second time has been really cool.
Well, and that's the thing. I think being a part of a community for so long and having all of these connections, whether it's parents or students and alums, and just having a lot of those connections, that it still can feel like a family. Yeah. Even though it's grown, right? Yeah, it's grown a lot. So this is how many years is this for you?
24. 24.
This is 14 for me. So what do you remember about as Kurt? So you came in 2 years after 2 years after Kurt, or you said his second year.
I think it was his second year.
What do you remember? Kind of just, it was with Kurt's leadership and just how the school has changed and things like that over the years.
Life has changed so much, and I think I was just so busy holding on at the beginning, just trying to make it.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I was observing at the beginning, but the thing that I guess most stands out to me over the Kurt's time is his faithfulness to the mission, his boldness and to the mission, and persevering to hold on to the trust of the mission even through some challenges.
Yeah.
I think that's what stands out to me the most, which is why I always loved working for him, because of his, devotion and steadfastness of holding the mission.
I think
trust.
I think steadfastness is the word that sticks out to me. Just I think I'd say the same thing when you first come in and you're kind of drinking from a fire hose, trying to figure out how do I do this job well, and you're coaching and doing different things that you don't even know what you don't know, right?
Yeah.
And you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and then you start to get into the family a little bit more and just going through ups and downs and all of that, and just seeing that Kurt is steadfast, right? He is who he is, and he stays true to the mission even through the hard times. And I think I've loved seeing Mr. Brown come back and telling stories, and just seeing that continuity over the years. I mean, to only have had 2 headmasters in all these years is pretty phenomenal. It's pretty phenomenal. Talk more. You kind of mentioned your kids. I don't know. Maybe talk about their experience and what that was like for you as a parent to see them go through the same hallways as you.
It was a lot of fun. I tried my best to be a parent and not get too involved. I hope they would say that they had a good experience and didn't feel my presence too much interfering. I think for my son Tom, it was probably harder, but only because I was the 6th grade football coach, and then I was the middle school basketball coach, and then I was his freshman teacher. Yeah. And then I can clearly remember him just needing some space. Yeah. So I tried to do my best there, but
I saw Mimi run up, and she would just jump up and hug you.
Mimi would just exactly what you said, in the hall, jump in my arms. How are you doing? She was just that way. Tom needed a little more space, but they both had great experiences. They both had incredible friend groups. I'm so incredibly grateful. Not everybody gets to have that experience. That's just how it is. But particularly for my children, they were a part of incredible friend groups. We, as parents, Amy and I, got to connect with, Tom's friends' parents. We became friends, and then we connected very well with Mimi's parents' friends, and we're all friends to this day. Yeah. So, but they had a wonderful experience. So we're very, very grateful for the experience, and mostly just people like you that we know and we trust, and speaking the truth to them. It takes a village, they say, and just the confidence of knowing that other for instance, when they're no longer listening to my voice, just knowing that other people that they look up to are reiterating in their own unique, different way the same truths is really why we believe so strongly in Christian education. It's really awesome.
Yeah. Well, the parents from our class just got together recently. I don't know if they did that they did it for the class of '97. They had like a reunion in the commons out there, and I mean, you think about that, like pushing 30 years and still coming back together, and just being parents, not even in high school together, but just loving getting together. Just all the stories that I heard from them, just saying, man, it was so good to get back together. And you think about that long relationship with the school. It's really cool. Well, I think we've about exhausted our time, and we've exhausted all the questions on my sheet. So I appreciate you being here, and this is just fun to do.
Yeah,
just kind of reminisce.
Grateful, thankful for the opportunity. Good to talk. So just grateful for you and all you do, for sure.
You too, man.
Working with those seniors is a huge responsibility, and you do a fantastic job.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.